Om Shri Sairam. We start today's session with three Omkars. Om. 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 Om Shri Sairam. Welcome to the 50th edition of Online Samarpan organized by Sai students from Mumbai. What a wonderful journey it has been since we started last April during pandemic times. When we didn't know anything about the pandemic, there was a lot of turmoil. There was a lot of fear in the hearts of everyone. What's going to happen next? And there is no better panache than listening to the glory of the Lord, and that is what we did. I mean, Bhagwan blessed us with speakers across the globe who shared their experiences with us, gave us comfort during these times, and here we are at the Golden Jubilee, in the 50th edition. We had conducted 59 sessions of physical Samarpan prior to the pandemic and another 50 sessions of online Samarpan, basically 109 sessions so far, and it's all Bhagwan's blessing and Bhagwan's grace. So for this 50th edition, we are blessed by Bhagwan to have Srimati Kamla Pandya, who will share her thoughts with us. A brief introduction to Kamla Aunty as we know her. Srimati Kamla Pandya has been a devotee of Swami right from the age of 6, when she got her first interview along with her family in Prashant Nilayam. Thereafter, at the age of 17, she became a Balvikas guru, and since then she has been closely associated with the Balvikas movement. Currently, she is the All India Mahila Coordinator for Balvikas and Mahila Vibhag activities, and also a trustee of Srimati Ishwarama Women's Welfare Trust at Prashant Nilayam. On the professional front, Kamla Aunty is a practicing advocate of Bombay High Court for close to 3 decades, specializing in personal laws and M&As. She has a rare distinction of being awarded 3 times gold medal while pursuing her education. One of them from the divine hands of our Lord during the graduation of EHV, Education in Human Values course at Prashant Nilayam. The other 2 gold medals she was awarded were during her graduation in psychology and her law degree from the University of Mumbai. Swami brought both Kamla Aunty and Nimish uncle together when Bhagwan conducted their marriage in 1983 at Prashant Nilayam, after which he has blessed the Pandya family by visiting their home at Kolaba in Mumbai. Aunty has been a mother figure to all of us, our Balvikas guru, and she continues to do Newman service to the organization. So it's our honor and privilege to have her with us. This will be an interesting, a different kind of a session that we will be having today. It will be a Q&A, a question and answer session. The session will be conducted by Brother Shiv and Sister Maya. Brother Shiv is a Balvikas alumnus, an alumnus from Prashant Nilayam campus, and has been actively involved in various programs that have been put up during Ashadi and other programs. And Sister Maya too has been a Balvikas alumnus and has been closely involved with various programs that have been put up at Ashadi and various Balvikas programs that have been put up, of course, as through her choreography skills. May I now request Brother Shiv and Sister Maya to take the session forward.
Sai Ram, everybody. Our humble pranams at Swami's Divine Lotus feet. It's really our honor and privilege, and it gives us great joy that on the Golden Jubilee celebration of the online Samarpan sessions, and also culminating with, post the 24-hour global Akhand Bhajan, we have the opportunity to reminisce and reflect on Swami's experiences. And for that, we have none other than Kamla Aunty herself. So that's the cherry on the cake. Nothing could be better than that. What say, Maya?
Absolutely. I'd really thank Swami for giving us this opportunity to have a wonderful conversation, Auntie, with you. To begin with, Auntie, you and Uncle have been such an inspiration for us during our growing up years. And somewhere, I think for all us Balvika students and their families, you both have been a source of introduction to Swami. And I've always wondered, and so I'm asking you this question as to how did you come to Swami, and also how has been your journey from then till now?
Sai Ram to everybody. I was introduced to Swami by my father. We at that time lived in Bangalore. I was a Malleshwaram baby. And my father would want us to go to Puttaparthi because he had heard that there is a God there. So we took a black car, old type of car, and drove down to Puttaparthi. It took us hours to reach Puttaparthi in those times. That means almost in 1960 or something like that. And when we reached there, Swami called us in. There were sands outside, not how we have the Kulwant Hall like this now, but there were sands outside. And Swami came out and said, Sindhi family from Bangalore, come in. So we all went in. My mother, father, grandmother was there also, I think. I don't remember, I was too small. And except for Deepak, the youngest one, all of us went in. And Swami materialized Vibhuti, and I, small little girl, looking below to see what is coming out from that sleeve of his. And I was very surprised that Swami was asking questions and talking to us. And that was the end. We had that interview and left. And we forgot about Swami. At least I forgot about Swami. Till when I was 17 years old, when we came to Bombay by that time, I got every Wednesday night or Thursday morning a dream, a very prophetic dream where Swami was telling me, teach my children, teach my children, teach my children. And I was wondering, why should I teach children, and which children do I have to teach? I'm already teaching. At that time, I had taken up a substitution post in a school which was near my house in Colaba. So I said, I'm already teaching. But Swami would not leave. Every Thursday again, teach my children, teach my children. This went on like every Wednesday or Thursday. So finally, one Monday evening, I was seated in Pushpa Kunj Bhajan. Jaishankar will be surprised to know that I used to sing there also. So at that time, next to me was Jean Auntie, Jean Vagela. She was seated next to me, and when the bhajan got over, she said, Kamla, will you teach my children the same words that Swami used? Will you teach my children? I said, yes, Auntie, where? She said, I'm at Gulman, or she gave the address. That is where I'm living now after marriage. That's where Nimish's family lived, and that's where Swami came to our house. Will you come there on Thursday and teach? I said, sure. She said, you prepare a story and come. I said, okay, because I was teaching already in a school, so telling a story, no problem. I said, I'll come and teach. And that day, I remember I carried charts of Pundalika, the first story that I told in Bal Vikas. And I told the story, and I was very happy with myself that I had done a good job. And not only that, every time I conducted a session, I felt that Swami's presence there. In fact, within a year, we had to give an exam of Bal Vikas. And I appeared for the exam. And though everybody said, there's no need to appear, what is that? I said, no, I will do it. So I appeared for the exam, and I was again awarded the first prize there. And that time Mrs. Shalyankar was there. She wanted to know, who is this Kamla? That time I was Bharwani. Who is this Kamla Bharwani who writes so well? And she called me up and said, Kamla, you write very beautifully, and we would like to have you in our... I said, Auntie, it's my pleasure. I want to be there. And that continued. And then one day, Willie Nanji, if you remember Dr. Willie Nanji, psychology student, was sent by in Dubai to my class to witness how I take a class. And when she went back, she told Uncle, this is the first time I've seen meditation done so well with children. So that's how I came into the fold of Bal Vikas and Sai family. In fact, there are many experiences that we had of Swami. That the closest that I remember is of my mother-in-law. It was her 60th birthday. I have time to share? Yeah, it was the 60th birthday, and she had for a year before that, from the 59th to the 60th year, given up eating rice. Given up eating rice for any meal. And one whole year she didn't eat. On the 60th birthday, that is 13th of February, Swami called her for an interview in the morning and gave her a sari and said, wear this and come back in the evening. I will talk to you again in the evening. So again in the evening, she was called for an interview. Swami said, only you, no family, only you and husband come. So she and my father-in-law went in and he blessed her and she went out. And then we went to the room. That time we were staying in B20, W2B20. And she said, Kamla, you make some pulao now. Let all of us eat rice today. We can break the vow. So I just took out the rice morsel to wash it. And there was a knock at the door. And who was there? Kutum Rao was there. And he said, I want to meet Mrs. Nirmala Pandya. I said, I'm Kamla Pandya. He said, no, I want Nirmala Pandya. Swami said to give this to her, only to her and nobody else. And there was a whole sack of rice. There was a sack, we didn't know what it was. A sack of something outside the door. So we pulled it in, and when we opened it, was a sack of rice. So Mummy said, Swami has sent rice for me. Swami has sent rice for me. Stop that rice. Take this rice and make pulao. So we took that rice and we gave pulao to everybody. That's how Swami was proved his omnipresence, that I know everything that you all do. There was once and again, it was the 3rd of June, my birthday, and we were in Ooty. This is after marriage. And I wanted to offer something to Swami because I had seen foreigners giving flowers and fruits. So why can't I give? I said. So Nimish said, no, you can't give. You have to maintain decorum and you can't do all this. I said, very funny. Giving flowers and fruits to Swami. So it was, he said, I said, I'll go out and I won't buy anything. I'll just pick up some flowers and come. So I took a little basket from the hotel room and I went down and plucked some flowers. It was raining outside and he was getting angry. Why are you going out in the rain? You'll fall sick and this and that. But I wouldn't listen. I said, nothing doing. I want to give Swami. And we came home. I got the flowers. Next day, I carried that little basket of flowers and sat in the line. And Swami came and said, birthday? Ah, very good. And he blessed the flowers and gave all blessings and went away. That was the 3rd of June. Then 4th, we were supposed to leave for Bangalore. So when we reached there on 5th, we were outside the gate of Vrindavan. And Swami came and said, Kya jhagda kiya? Tumhara birthday ka din kitna jhagda kiya? Ek fool ke liye itna jhagda karta hai? Swami saw everything. So that's why he's showing that he's omnipotent. Don't fight. Live happily. Be loving to each other. Don't fight. Not for flowers and fruits. Nobody fights for them. That was how we had Swami's omnipresence felt. Then once more that you all know that at that time I developed a toothache again in May, in the month of May. And it was hot in Puttaparthi and there was difficulty to breathe also. Anyhow, so, but I got a locked jaw. I couldn't open my mouth. So we drove down to Bangalore because there was no doctor in Puttaparthi. So we drove down to Bangalore and we met a dentist and he gave a whole list of medicines to have. We reached Bangalore. When we were just about to leave the dispensary, the doctor told me that I've heard just now that Baba has gone to Puttaparthi. I said, God, I came from Puttaparthi to Bangalore. He's gone to Puttaparthi. So we drove back to Puttaparthi. We reached Puttaparthi and Swami went straight to Nimish and said, wife cannot speak? Ah, bad tooth. Don't worry. Tomorrow doctor is coming from Bombay. He meant Dr. Fanibanda. Doctor is coming from Bombay. You take her there. He knows what to do with her. And I went next morning to Dr. Fanibanda. And nothing. He just gave me an iodine tincture and said, put that in that tooth. Just rub it in and your mouth will open. Within few moments, the mouth started opening. And then he said, use a spatula and open that. You know what the spatula for using? Just turn it over and your mouth will open. These are small things that Swami had showed his presence every time he was there with us. Then once I used to talk a lot. Now I talk very less comparatively. That time I used to talk too much. In fact, I was called at home Bakbaki. In Sindhi, Bakbaki means chatterbox. So I wouldn't talk too much. In fact, Swami commented, "बहुत बात करती है, बहुत बात करती है." I said, "Swami, okay, I won't talk." So Swami said, "But I'll not do that one condition, Swami. You promise that you will talk to me. Whenever you see me, don't turn your face away. At least say hello, say kaisa hai, kabhi aaya, just like that, Swami." So Swami said, "हाँ, bolega." And that was a promise that Swami gave me. Every time after that, whenever he saw me, he'll come to me or he'll go to Nimish and say, "Wife ko bolo, maine dekha, wo udhar बैठी है, ये apple usko de do." Or something or the other. He would always tell her I saw her, tell her I saw her. So somehow or the other, this continued well for a few years, but then time takes its toll. And then what did Swami start doing? Whenever he'd come to me, I'll say, and that was, and that was all. That's how he acknowledged my presence. And in fact, all of you have seen that during the Ashadi time, I was always there. Yeah, you can ask some more. He's telling me now, let them talk. that is
No, we were thoroughly enjoying all these anecdotes that you were sharing, and so beautiful to see the loving interaction that Swami had and shared with you. I could just let you continue, you know.
There's one
Uh,
more. That's one
yes,
more.
yes, please, please.
After marriage, my father-in-law was very keen that I also joined the band of lawyers. He was a lawyer. Nimish was a lawyer. So he wanted me also. Why? She's a gold medalist already in my house. Why can't she be a lawyer? I somehow didn't like law. Papa wanted me to be a lawyer. So he said, you give up all this teaching and all that, and you now become a lawyer. So I went to Puttaparthi. I said, "Ask Swami. If Swami agrees, then we do." At that time, there was a pre-Sevadal Guru's conference, and I was one of the speakers there. So Swami called all the speakers for an interview. Devi Auntie also was with me, and we were called for an interview. When we went to the interview, Swami asked me, "What are you doing?" So I said, "I'm teaching." So Swami said, "Law or love? Dono karo." I didn't understand what he meant. So I said, "Swami, what?" He said, "हाँ, tum samajh jayegi." And then we went out of the interview. Then it struck me that I must do law and I must continue teaching Bal Vikas. So law and love. That is how he had prompted me from the time of marriage. And so that year in June we got married. I took the October batch of law and started the first year of law. And I was the only girl who would go in the morning and sit for those morning classes. There was nobody, but I was very dedicated. So I said, "Swami knows that I have to do law. So if I don't go, then Swami will get upset." I would go in the morning at 7 o'clock and sit at KC College of Law. And nobody would be there. One master, one professor, and me would be there all the time. And that was how I did law. Finally studied on my own and got to go.
Wow. So, Auntie, you spoke about Swami saying law and love, and love standing for you taking Balvikas. Ever since most of us have known you, you've been so closely associated with Balvikas, both you and Uncle. Um, how has been your journey, and what are some of the most cherished memories or even learnings along the way from Balvikas?
Yeah, I asked Deepak to share with us the screen, so I can just give at a glance what are the lessons I have learned as a Balvikas guru. Not only for me, but I've shared it with all the gurus. Whenever we have Balvikas training, I've been sharing it.
Okay, sure.
Deepak will share the screen. This is the ABC of life. The lesson of the lotus feet of Shri Satya Sai Baba as a Balvikas guru. First thing Swami told me is always be childlike. If you want to be an ideal Bal Vikas Guru, be childlike. And today it's very nice that it's Children's Day. And on such an auspicious day, I'm talking about Bal Vikas because it's so apt that we have to all be childlike, cheerful, and cautious. Next, Deepak. The DEF of life is don't ever lose faith in God. Be like Gaurang, the great singer who gave up everything to sing for the Lord. And so don't lose faith in God. Don't lose faith in Baba. Next. There's a lovely story which I always tell about the God exists. There are 19 horses and one will had to be made by a gentleman. So he asked me, ma'am, you're a lawyer, will you make a will for me? I said, fine. He said, 19 horses you have to distribute to my son. Half the horses go to my son. 1/4 of the horses go to Raju, my servant, and 1/5 goes to Dharmakshetra, where I go and spend my evening. So I drafted the will and I did it. And I asked Shiv Kumar to be the executor to the will. And the witness, in the presence of 2 witnesses, we signed the will. The old man signed the will, and I gave the will to Shiv Kumar to keep for good custody. The old man kicked the bucket very soon, and then Shiv Kumar opened the will and he said, "Oh God, what has this Kamla aunty done? She's made a will of 19 horses. Half the horses to the son. So that means 10 goes there. 1/4 to Ramu, the servant. That means 1/4 of 20 would be 5. 1/5 of to Dharmakshetra, 4. So 10 plus 5 plus 4, 19. But what about, how do I sell it? How do I do all this distribution? If I have to cut the horses, it's not correct. So at that time, an old man came and on his horseback and said, don't worry, I'll help you solve these problems. And he got up from his horse and he said, add this 20th horse to the 19 horses. Now keep them in a line. Now she said, Shiv Kumar distributed. Half of 20, 10. 10 goes to the son. Then 1/4 of 20 is 5. 5 goes to Ramu the servant. 1/5 of 20 goes to Dharmakshetra, 4. So 10 plus 5 plus 4 is 19. Perfect. Then he sat on his 20th horse and he went away. I said, stop, uncle, what are you doing? Explain what you did. He said, remember, whenever you are in trouble, add the 20th horse, and that is the sign of grace in your life. So that's how that story always reminds in my mind that whenever we are in trouble, we must remember that God exists. God is there with us, guiding us, promoting us. Next, Deepak. The most important thing that we learned is to practice 3HV. The head, whatever thought comes to the head, before the hand acts on it, take the approval of the heart. Remember the signal, traffic signal. First, the thought comes to the head, stop the car. Think, pause. That's the orange light coming on, telling you to remember Sai. And then when the green light comes, then only you move ahead. So be always happy and share the thoughts of the head. Before the hand acts, take the approval of the heart. I'll go on to the next. Next, Deepa. We all must practice to speak the truth. That Swami told me that as a Bal Vikas Guru, you must speak the truth so that the children follow you. And when we practice speaking the truth, we are developing 2 important I's. Remember IIT, intuition and intellect. And that will lead to development of truth. Very important is intellect and intuition, which we will learn when we do our meditation session at the end. How important is intuition in development through meditation? And that is one thing that I learned from Bal Vikas, that by keeping on hearing the meditation or practicing meditation, you're opening up intuition. Next. There must be a judicious mix of all the 3 margas, bhakti, seva, and jnana. We must not only be jnana marga like Bal Vikas, but we must do seva also, karma marga, and bhakti, devotion. All 3 must be done together like by Belpuri of Bombay. Everything must be there. The kurmura, the save, I'm all feeling hungry now. Save, kurmura, everything must, the mithi chutney, the tikha chutney, everything must be together and must be a judicious mix. A balance must be there in your life. Next. I'll go quick. This you're going to see the K of life is kindle the light of Dhyan. And we're going to see it at the end. So we'll go on to the next one. Love and law, I already spoke to you. And then we come to M. The three margas I mentioned to you. There must be a judicious mix of bhakti, jnana, and karma marg. And then we come to next. This is the Balvikas thing. The vowels of Balvikas are A, I, A. A is appointment with God, bhakti marg. I is inward journey, going inward and asking, who am I? Where have I come from? What do I have to do? That is the jnana marg. And again, the second area in Bal Vikas is action without desire for food, karma marg. So this is the vowels. The marriage that we got is like a bond that Swami brought us together close, and very important that we practice to live in happiness and joy. That's what Swami told me. Don't fight. Be loving to each other. Next, money. M. The next money that he spoke about was M was money. Deepak? Money comes and goes, Swami says, but morality comes and goes. This happened in Dharmakshetra. It was the 13th of May. And it was a Friday, and Swami called me in for an interview with my father and mother. He told me on the 11th of May, after the EHV meeting, father ko leke aao, mother ko leke aao, upar aao, main baat karta hu. He was planning for our marriage. And that's the time he told my father, money comes and goes, but morality comes and goes. You have not cheated anybody, so don't be scared. Be proud that I am performing your daughter's marriage. I will do it. My father said, Swami, I have no money. He said, don't worry, I will do everything. That's why money is very important, that we understand that it is not the end and goal of life. It is just a means. And never, 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 never give up, because kal ho na ho. You remember that song we did for Ashadi? So that's it. Remember, never, 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 never give up. This is what Winston Churchill told, you have heard me saying it, in the valedictory speech. Never, 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 never give up. 6 words and no more. And he sat down after that. I can't speak for 6 words and sit down. Jai Shankar will be angry with me. He told me, you have to speak for so many. I said, 1.5 hours is too much. But anyhow, I'm trying to make it as interesting as possible. Next. Open-minded. Be optimistic. That's what the O in life should be. There are 10 sentences when you wake up in the morning, you must all say it. First of all, I am a strong being. Then I am a healthy being. I am a powerful being. I am a peaceful being. 4 over. 5th is bring the ring of protection around me. Bring the ring of protection around my family. Bring the ring of protection around my society. Bring the ring of protection around my country. 9 over. The 10th one is, I am the angel of God. I am God's angel. These 10 sentences, if you say every morning, you will find that you will feel much better. In fact, all my Balvika children do this ring of protection every time. Even Arjun, if he is there somewhere, he's telling me that he'll be there, will always be doing this, the ring of protection. Do this ring of protection, because I always tell my children, in Bombay, we don't know what will happen once you leave the house. So just do this ring. Just 1 minute it takes. Not even 1 minute, 1 second. God be with me. God cast the ring of protection around me. Next, Deepak. Prayer. And this is really an ideal thing that we must do, is prayerize, picturize, and actualize. Then push until something happens. Pray until something happens. Push means pray until something happens. P-U-S-H. Pray until something happens. Now, what will you do when you're praying? Pray that things are good. Not only pray, not only talk, but picturize that things are good. And now when you picturize, the next thing it will actualize. This happened to me with a divorced couple. A couple came to me that they wanted a divorce. The lady didn't want to give the divorce, but the man wanted, because he had found another woman. So I told her, just give it in, because no point fighting in your matter in public. Just give it to him. And it's better that you take divorce by mutual consent. So I said, okay, you just sign the petition on the first month, and after 6 months, you will go back and sign. That's all. You do not say, I don't. You just say, I don't want anything. I don't want anything. I'll just leave him as is. But meanwhile, in the 6 months, you pray. You picturize the happy days that you all had together, and it will actualize in your life. She did exactly what I said. For 6 months, she prayed fervently. She picturized that her husband is coming back to her set, and that the other lady is gone away, and it actualized. On the last day of the 6th month, when she was going for the divorce, she prayed to me again, and she said, ma'am, I don't know what will happen. I said, it will happen. And that morning, the man came to the court and said, I don't want the divorce. The other woman has left me. I'll go back to my... And that is how prayerize, picturize, and actualize come. Next, be quiet. And you're asking me too many questions, so I'll leave that to you. Be quiet and practice silence. Next, Deepak. Be a right leader. Swami told me that, I don't know, Maya was there at that time, when we had a youth meeting with Swami, with the ladies and the gents, and Swami praised the girls a lot and said, so that time he told me, you are a right leader, be forthright. Don't worry about others. Just be forthright. So that's why for me, law and love. There is love, but with that comes law, and that is discipline. Then we have Seva, the Sri Satya Sai Seva organization tells us to start the day with silence, to fill the day with study, self-study, end the day with self-audit, and then do Seva. Start the day with silent sitting, meditation. Read good books, read self-study. End the day with self-audit. Am I a better person today than what I was yesterday? The answer is yes, then only you should sleep. This is the Seva and silence of the Sri Satya Sai organization. Seva, then you must do Seva. First you must do silent sitting, then self-study, then self-audit, and then plunge into Seva. Then only you will get the benefit of the Sri Satya Sai Seva organization. Next. Practice this is very important. Thought, word, and action must be in unity, because that is the basis of character. Character is harmony of thought, word, and action. And that's how we have to spend our life. That what we think, what we speak, and what we act must be in unison. And that is an ideal character. Finally, is transformation. The T of transformation. Jab se maine sai paya, mera jeevan badal gaya. इस जहां की बुराइयों से मुझे छुड़ाया, प्यार दे के तब से दिल मेरा मन मेरी काया, मेरा जीवन बदल गया. And Swami said that you are a trustee of the 3,000 children. Don't worry about your own children born from your tummy. Think about the children you are bringing up in Bal Vikas. You are the trustee for that. He told this in Dharmakshetra on the stage of the stage that we have when we come down the steps. And then we must practice values, mainly Satya, Dharma, Shanti, Prema, and Ahimsa, which is universal. We come to the end very close. W is next, Deepak. Watch yourself, watch your words, actions, thoughts, character, heart. Then you will find that there are things improving. And remember, X is for excellence. Go next, doesn't matter, correct. Deepak, go. Excellence, exercise of excellence. And Y is Bal Vikas is yeoman service that you are rendering. Go to the next, Deepak. It's a yeoman service that you are rendering. And Z, don't give up the zeal, the zest for Bal Vikas. Even when you're 40 years in Bal Vikas, you must have the same zeal, the same zest. Then only you will feel the lessons of Baba have been successful in your life. Yeah, that is it.
Auntie, you are just simply brilliant. And I'm sure the audience, the devotees, would have witnessed the Balvikas Guru in you. And after so many years, we've heard you so many times. But even now, when you were with the ABC of life that you were, there are so many things that reminded us, oh, we need to do that, oh, we need to do that. And I remember when I had just finished my Balvikas and I was training to be a Balvikas guru. I remember we had one session in your house. I don't know if you remember me, Deepali, Shibani, you were a bunch of that group. And we had a session at your house where you were to conduct a Balvikas and we were to watch you and learn from you. I mean, to date, I keep telling Shiv, I remember everything that you did in that class. Like even the example of the three types of devotees that you had mentioned is just imprinted in my mind. And I still remember how beautifully you conducted the session, the class, with so much of life and so much of laughter. And I think I still hold it very close to my heart. So that's the impact you've had in all of our lives. But coming to the next question, Auntie, we know that Balvikas has changed, transformed children. But I would want to ask you, how has Balvikas been instrumental in changing the lives of the Balvikas gurus? What is it that you have seen across, the way it has touched their lives?
I've seen many gurus who have totally changed their lives because of Balvika. I had a lady called Surekha Pai who would come to my house, and now at that time she couldn't open her mouth. Even now she will tell me, Kamla, I still remember the story you said. I still remember this. And today she's leading there in Karnataka, in Mangalore. She's leading all the gurus together. There's a total change in personality. There are so many I have trained like this. There was another lady called Jayanti, who's now in Bangalore, who also became so confident. It just comes in confidence. You see somebody infusing confidence, he also feels that confidence. We had lots of them like this. I have number of, I can't remember so many names, but I feel all of them, I will say thank you for giving me confidence. Till today, I can continue taking Balvika.
Wow. Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned Surekha Auntie. She was my Balvika's guru
Kavita
too.
was there. Kavita was with me at that time. Amrita was there. All of them gave
Correct.
like little dots in my. Then Roshni was there. Roshni, you remember, no? Maya, the dancer girl.
Yes.
All of them, the two sisters, Meghna and all
Divya.
of them came.
Yeah. Yeah, wonderful times. And as children, when we've seen all these Balvikas gurus, what we've only noticed is the selflessness with which they conduct all their classes and interact with all of us children. We almost forget that they are not our actual parents, but they've become so parent-like. So it's been fantastic. Uh, Auntie, Uncle and you have been part of the Sai
Uncle,
organization for so
come.
many.
He escaped me all the questions.
Uh,
Uncle,
Yeah, you both have been part of the Sai organization for so many decades and been such an integral part of Ashad Ekadashi program since its inception. I can't escape asking this question, you see. It's a rare and unique privilege that all our Maharashtra devotees have been bestowed with by Bhagwan.
When you talk of Ashadi Shiv, I'm sure all of us have a list of things to share the way it shaped our lives. But talking in this context, I would like to share that when Jay Shankar brother introduced me and said choreographies, I think the credit goes to you, Auntie. I should not miss mentioning this. If had it not been you who gave me the opportunity to choreograph, I think I would never have known that I could, try something. I've always been a good student. I was a student. I used to teach what I've learned. But choreographing for Ashadi was something that introduced me to so many creative thought process, which happened because you gave me that opportunity. And I'm
not only you, there are so many gurus. Whoever said I want to do, I said do it. Because I
yes,
wanted
Auntie.
the flavor of a new person coming in. Gauri was always there by my side, helping me. But I wanted some more new flavors to come. So Yogini would come. Remember Yogini Trivedi?
Yes,
She was there. Then Padmini from everybody was coming in. I said, do it because we want different flavors to come in. We don't want the same monotonous dance every time. We want different people to do.
That was so you, auntie. You and uncle always pushed. I mean, I would always tell Shiv, you're fiercely protective about your children, and we have been a witness to it. And you would do anything to push us, and somewhere that has shaped us in our future lives. I mean, the way we've led and what we've become today. A lot of credit goes to you and uncle. But Ashadi is something that is we can't remove from a lot of children's lives, including you. So Shiv, you would like to continue the question.
Yeah, so my question is, Auntie, we want to know, see, we all have had our experiences, but we want to know your side, and we want to know what are some of the most cherished moments from the various years of Ashadi. I mean, what Swami has spoken to you, what interactions have happened. That'll be very interesting to know.
Swami was all the time worried about Ashadi. From March, he would start. कौन सा theme लाता है ये time? Which theme are you bringing? What is Bombay doing? So then Nimish would tell like this. अच्छा, दोनों साथ में करते हैं. कौन करता है like that? He would go on. Marriage, it was like a marriage ceremony in our house. Every March to July, the house was just infected with Ashari work. I remember once when we did that Animal Kingdom, no, that time I had a basement flat, and that entire flat had all the frogs and rabbits and everybody's costumes there. So it was like a marriage ceremony. It was a time of bonding that we had with Swami. And I remember we would write out the script with car. Nimish would dictate, I would write it, or in the bedroom, and Swami would come in. Ye tum palang par likha na, you were on your bed when you wrote this, and this you wrote here, like this. And that's not a we would come. One day, one story I remember very well is about the distribution of sari. It's almost towards the end, last few Ashadi. So he called me and he said, help in the distribution. I started white and red sari.
Yes.
I started helping. But in the end, there were 6 saris left. I counted the children, there were 6. So I did from behind, like this, Ishara. I was very friendly with Swami. It was like a father figure to me. So he told the boy to bring, that boy must have counted 600 times and come by the time he came. He gave me 6. And I distributed all, and the 6 became 7. So I said, from there, I'm right behind the line. I'm saying, one more extra. Who do I give it to? I said, I don't want. You give me with your hand. And from there, we are talking to each other. And he said, okay. At that time, his hand was a problem. He would not lift it high. But he came across the parapet and gave the sari in my hand. And that's how I remember that he wanted that 7th sari to come to me. I remember that every time he would find, he had given a promise that I will speak. Wherever I would be, he would come and ask me, Kaisa hai? Once I remember the children were practicing in Pune Chandra Hall, Maharashtra group. And all Bombay, we were sitting in the Pulvan Hall. Swami came from Pune Chandra, witnessed that Janeshwar or something. And he came and he saw me sitting in the corner. He said, "Tum idhar, husband idhar? Udhar nahi chodo. You go there." He doesn't listen to me because Swami had told Nimish that the buffalo's words are not synchronizing with the sound. Make the voice synchronize. And Swami said, Nimish told me, yes, Swami, I'll do it. Just like that, pass it off. So Swami came and told me, "Wo sunta nahi hai mera, tera sunega, you tell him." Corner, Shantan is sitting next to me and listening to what is happening.
Wow.
A lot of experiences. Now I forget. Time is.
Yeah, quickly out of question. Out of this thing, connecting to what you were talking about Ashadi. I remember. I think Mumbai had the distinction. I don't know if I can really take the liberty to say that, but I felt our dramas were not purely mythological. We had some instances of mythology. But I feel when it came to the children, we always had a very fun drama. Lot of music, lot of dance, and a little of mythology, little of philosophy, little of spirituality, but everything combined together. It was a very simply put, very beautiful. I mean, we believed that it was very beautiful. But I'm sure it must not have been so easy for you at Parthi. So, are there, I mean, could you share some experience of any
Nothing happened
script?
in Padti is bad. In fact, everybody, because we had the stamp of Swami on our, because we are Ashadi, that is why everybody took us with a smile. They all said, Bombay, we want to see Bombay dramas, we want to see Mumbai dramas. So that's how it was. We never had any problem. And we never gave chance to people. If you don't like it, it's okay, it's your will. But we have done our best. And we did it really as our best, as our last effort. Make kal ho na ho. So that was the thing.
Yeah, I
And
think I
after pyar
totally.
hai, Swami from there said, "Ha, pyar hai." Remember?
Yes.
You were there, yeah. Shiv Kumar, you remember that, no?
Yeah. So I was not in that drama, but I heard about it.
That's right.
And it's wonderful, you know, the
And
number of.
every time we're thinking of new themes. All the time we're thinking of new themes. That was how from January to March we were just racking each one's brain. March to July we were only planning, and then July onwards we tired out.
Yes, yes. We used to give it our all during that period. And
Like a marriage in a house. You know how
absolutely
the Baratis comes and all that like that. It was.
correct,
And Nakshatra was like full, every room was occupied. We had to
correct.
find a place. You go in this room, you go there, you go there. Gauri is also listening. Yeah.
Yeah. So I still remember, you know, how both of you back us up, all youngsters, giving us new chances and encouraging us to give it a try. Otherwise, I would not have transitioned from merely being an actor to, you know, slowly learning how to direct the play, how to write a script. And you know, thanks to both of you, uncle and auntie, for giving us that encouragement and the platform.
Even,
Uh,
even our Akshay. Akshay got so
yes.
many whacks. He got and he said, I remember those whacks because of those whacks have improved.
Absolutely, without a doubt. Without a
Absolutely.
doubt. I think that's what shaped us to what we are. And to have the self-confidence that, you know, we can even do this. Otherwise, we did not even know that we had this talent and we can even attempt something like this. And the benefit of it is accrued, you know, even in outside of the SAI organization, in our professional lives, we're able to use that.
Good.
Yeah. So, Auntie, I want to get on to a different topic, and that topic is, you know, I come from the world of finance, and I do see that sometimes things are not as black and white as one would like it to be. And you know, for you who's chosen law as a profession, it's again a field where you have all kinds of people and all kinds of situations. You may have come across some, if I could call it ethical dilemmas or conflicts with Swami's principles. How have you dealt with it? Maybe
I'm
something
very
for us to
clear.
learn.
I'm very clear. I don't touch if I don't see.
Okay,
For example, even if a person comes for notarization, if he doesn't present himself before me, I will not sign. So I'm
right,
very clear that even that's why I don't go to court much. I do more of documentation. That's my forte. I rather spend rather than spending my head, breaking my head with people telling lies. I can't do that. So I just follow what my heart says. I will see you and I will sign the document. I will not see you. I will not sign. It's just black and white. So,
yeah, I think that clarity really helps
Yeah.
one to keep away from some of the problematic situations that one may encounter.
I
Yeah,
mean, that's something that we learn from Balvikas. That is a distinct feature about Balvikas is the clarity of thought. And what better way to learn it from our leaders? And as we said, you still continue to be doing that, Auntie. So, coming to the next question, Auntie, taking this topic on law, I mean, I don't know if I'd be right to say, but women lawyers are comparatively less. And at your time, during your time, it surely, as you said, you were the only girl sitting in the class with the professor. Yet, you chose it and has been exceptional at it. I mean, the gold medal speaks volumes. But so, Auntie, my question is, what is your message to the ladies out there?
Nowadays, it's not. You can't say there are few. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry, will be every Jane, Mary, and Anne is a lawyer. So there's no problem nowadays. But we don't. They don't reach heights. There are very few who reach the heights. They're all like second fiddle, like helping out and all. But there's nothing to worry about because as time passes on, women are getting more confident. And if they keep to their ideals, which women always do, then I don't think it will be difficult for women to practice.
Okay. Auntie, I remember that you had been to Thailand for the EHV course, and I remember when you and Devi Auntie came back, and you all shared a lot of instances of what you learned from there, and you got a gold medal there too. And Swami, I believe, sent you there. Auntie, could you share some of those experiences of that visit
In fact, when
and
we came
stay?
back, that was the first year that Swami recognized the women, the Indians who had gone to Thailand. And he said, India group, come. He came to me and said, you India or you Bangalore, you Thailand, you Australia? He asked me now 1,000. I said, Swami, Bombay. Come. So all 12 of us, 12 of us came forward, and that's the time, for the first time, the Indians who went to Thailand got the gold medal, got the certification. The main thing about Thailand was that I learned was meditation and silent sitting. Dr. Jumsai is an ardent follower of meditation. No session of his period in the class begins without my silent sitting or meditation. I used to wonder, what are they doing? Out of 35 minutes, 5-10 minutes go and keeping the class quiet, 5 minutes in meditation, then what do they teach? But when I witnessed it, I found that 5 minutes which they are teaching meditation is helping the children to learn more because it's sharpening the intellect and the intuition. And that happened in my life. I found that my intellect and intuition is getting sharper. I was getting thoughts from within, from inside, I was getting promptings. And that is what meditation does. And we must practice it every day. The first thing I told you, silent sitting in the morning, self-study in the afternoon, and silent self-audit in the evening, then do seva. You will be successful.
Very nice. Auntie, wanting to know if there is any hilarious incident that occurred, between y'all and Swami, and if there, where he would have given a very profound and important message for all of us to remember.
Once it was during Tukaram's time. Tukaram, we had done the Maharashtra group was doing that. Bombay would do all those fancy stuff, and Maharashtra would do the mythologies and the proper saints. So it was Tukaram's time, and Tukaram had a wife who was, famous for her cross-patch business. So Swami was walking inside Purna Chandra, and he came and Nimish was behind, and he said, Tukaram, this Tukaram has an avli. That's for me. Ye Tukaram has an avli. Tukaram ko moksha mila, avli ko nahi mila. So I'm not going to get moksha this time. I still have to come back to do some more work. So that time I was shocked at what he's telling about avli and all. And then it struck me that he's telling me that Tukaram got moksha, but avli did not get. But I have a feeling that I'm sure avli must have gone first, and so Swami must have missed.
Yeah. And Auntie, is there something that you would like to share that Swami has particularly told both you and Uncle post your marriage on any message that he wanted you to follow?
He was very particular about how I dress. In fact, when we came back from Goa, he told me, don't wear those swimming costumes. But I said in my mind, how do I go into the swimming pool then? Sari? So I didn't say anything, but he said, "Don't put lipstick." I never used lipstick, but he saw some lips colored up. So don't put lipstick and wear your sari like this. Cover your hand to the end, and people will watch and say, "My ideal couple not wearing correct clothes." So he had projected that we were going to lead the nation before, and that's how when Nimish was chosen as the All India President, it was Swami's prophecy that you all are going to lead and you must be an ideal couple. People will see you and talk about me. And so we have, I hope we can live up to him. Right to add,
Wow.
So, talking about the prophecy, Auntie, that you mentioned, where Swami somewhere dropped the hint that you both have to lead as a couple, and being a part of the Satya Sai Seva organization, and now Uncle being in the post of All India President. How has the journey been? And if you reflect back, what is it that you hold very close? And what is it that you would like to, a message that you would like to give all of us?
In fact, I found that journey has been quite pleasant. We had great protectors around. We had saviors like Gabriel angels around us. Sarlanti was always protecting me. Indubai was protecting Uncle. Then I came on to Shantanti was always, though she may get angry with anybody, she would never get upset with me. So we were all the time being protected, and I felt that was the hand of Swami. Swami was guiding them to keep on protecting us. So we didn't have any problems in life. And in fact, there's been and then after that, V. Srinivasan protected Nimish and Vidyanti would protect me. We always had people helping us and protecting us, guiding us, showing us the path so that
Yeah, I think Swami knows when he needs to step in and comes in different forms and becomes the ring of protection as you said, we should start our day with. Yeah. Auntie, post Samadhi, for all of us who have enjoyed Swami's physical presence and enjoyed all those little interactions, it's been a decade now, and we've learned to enjoy the omnipresence too. What are some of the lessons and experiences that you have come across, enjoyed yourself, and which you would like to share with all of us?
I've stopped talking to him loudly, but I continue talking to the picture. I have a talking picture in my room. And
Okay.
that's a picture I talk to always. Whatever I want to say, I will talk to that picture. And I will, in fact, I sometimes feel I can get a response from that picture itself. So that's called my talking picture. And I always will remember that he has said, I will speak. I will speak. So he will respond sometime. That is my faith in him. Of course, we do miss his presence, especially there are times when you do it. But then now time is the best healer, they say. And 10 years have passed and we got used to it, got involved in other work. Dharma Kshetra luckily is nearby. So whenever we feel down and we rush to the Dharma Kshetra, now the beautiful place for all of us. Even though in COVID times we would go there in the morning and sit for not bhajan, for aarti. That's why.
Auntie, talking about the post Samadhi and the conversation that you have with Bhagwan, is there any experience that you would like to share after Samadhi where Swami showed a very strong presence and you really enjoyed that omnipresence of Bhagwan?
No, I don't think there has been anything like that. But I feel his presence always because it's always guiding us. I don't have any, I can't remember anything offhand now.
Okay.
I think let me share with others that this girl will go on troubling me.
Yeah, that is there, that is there. Auntie, we can bargain on your behalf and also invite Uncle if he would like to join us for a minute.
He's on the phone. He's always, my neighbors don't have two little boys here. They call him Chitku uncle. He's always stuck to the phone.
Right. Yeah. So okay, till he joins, maybe if you want to share the particular incident that happened between you and uncle in Parthi, where Swami would tease you and then go and tease him, and he would play pranks, and how he would show that he knows what is happening, and yet he's pretending otherwise.
Yeah, Swami was all the time telling me, "You don't speak. You let him talk." And I would not even wait for him to speak. I'll ask, "Are you sure you want to marry me? Are you sure?" And, and I would realize that Swami doesn't like it. This went on for some time. And every time Swami will say, "You don't speak. Let him speak. Let him make up his mind." And finally, one day, my mother told me, "Now, if Swami says and no this time, we will just stop meeting him." So I said, "Okay." So I went one day. It was Friday, 27th November, and we just the budget, Balvika, I mean the birthday celebration over, and they were asking us to come and roll chapatis in the canteen. So I went. I said, "I don't know how to roll. Till today, I don't know how to roll chapatis. I can cook everything but roll chapatis." So I went there and I rolled a help to make those little golas and give. And then we came, it was 4:30 and Swami is already out. So that auntie, that time that was not Shauri auntie, some other one prior to her, she made us sit in the first row. So I sat in the first row. Swami came and said, "Hey, Bombay Balvika." He used to call me Bombay Balvika. So I went. So he said, "सेम लड़का देता है, सेम बॉय देता है, बॉम्बे बॉय प्रॉमिस है." So I was very happy, and he told me take Pat Namaskar. I took Pat Namaskar, and I went to the room. My mother was happy that Swami had spoken positively for the first time in public also. But Nimish was like Narad at that time. He said, "You might have asked in your dream some boy," and Swami said that boy must be from Bombay, and that he didn't tell you, he didn't tell my name, so it may not be me. So this would go on. But however, Swami was all the time telling me, "You don't speak, let him speak." And finally, on the 13th of May, he told my father, "Hurry up, get her married." That is in Dharma Kshetra only. "Get her married, and I will provide for everything. You bring the party to Puttaparthi, and I will arrange everything." So on the 7th of June, we all left. And he gave alternative dates. My father said, "No changes, coming 9th of June only, before you change your mind." So we went on the 7th of June, and the marriage took place on the 9th. And Swami kept every word. The best was that we performed the aarti. And the aarti, my mother was very beautiful at making aartis. Whenever Swami would come to Bombay, she would make the aarti thalis for Swami. So that time also we had asked her to make. So she had made a camphor diya, and there were two diyas. And Swami pushed the diya, like he was playing carom, and pushed both, and they merged into one. He said, "Shadi ke baad, do nahi ek." That's how.
Wow, that's so
And
beautiful.
then we had given a card to Swami. Both of us had made a card, and it was so beautiful that you have to keep on opening the flaps, and then suddenly in the middle comes out a lotus. And that was at that lotus we had put size feet, a sticker of size feet. He said, "Wow." Swami said, "Wow, very nice." He opened each petal, read all our prayers on the petal, and then that flower opened into the lotus feet of Sai. So we were from beginning always trying to do something so that Swami would talk, do something, would be attractive, would spend time with us. And he was motivating, he was prodding us, he was always guiding us.
Wow, really, really nice to hear these moments.
Is uncle coming,
Is
auntie?
uncle coming?
He's coming now. He said, "I'm coming."
Okay. Yeah, I'm sure he's got something nice to share with us.
They are here with you.
Sai Ram.
Sai Ram,
Sairam,
uncle.
uncle.
Our conversation cannot be complete without the two of you.
Yeah, that's true, yes.
Yes, sorry to pull you out of the call that you were on,
No, no.
but yeah, we had a wonderful session talking to Auntie so far, and we wanted to know if you had some lovely memories to share with Bhagwan. Could be regarding the Sai organization, Balvikas,
Ashadi.
Ashadi. I think the long list is quite long,
Or
and
even as
Yeah,
an All India
he,
yeah,
president.
even as
But I think, let me put it this way, that the practice, as Kamla also was mentioning, it is very important that the world of Sai devotees, we as people who've been touched by the divine love of Bhagwan, must understand that practice is very important. Without practice, nothing happens. Swami used to always say there are two categories of people on the path of spirituality. There is one category of people who really get involved into rituals. They are very particular about rituals, which is very good. And then there is the other category, which is highly intellectual. They are very gyanis, the kind of gyanis they are. Both the paths are valid, but both the paths are useless if there is no experience of divinity arising out of the two paths. Because the horse of the experience of divinity, both the paths are useless. Therefore, I remember one incident where, when we did the Tripura Rahasya, the drama that we did before Swami, and that was on the basis of the doership. Now, all of us did it. I mean, you all are all involved in it. We had the entire message understood that doership is the greatest problem between man and God and all that. And therefore, and if you remember, at the end of the drama, Swami called me and made me sit next to him on the portico next to him. And then very suddenly he asked me, drama was very nice, who did it? And then I, like a buffoon that time, didn't realize. I said, all of us in Bombay, we in Maharashtra and Bombay, we did everything together. And we said that we are doing all this together. And Swami kept on asking me 2-3 times, and it didn't occur to me that we have just done a drama on doership. And I should be saying, Swami, you did it. And I didn't say it. And Swami got so upset that he asked the boy behind to turn the chair and move towards the car. Halfway down the bhajan, even the aarti was not over. Imagine, I must have upset God so much that he even forgot to take aarti. And he moved. I ran after him. The moment the chair moved, it flashed on me like a sort of thunderstorm that what a fool I am. I should have been saying, Swami is testing me. It's like an examiner who's taking a viva and asking me what is happening. And here I am failing immediately. I ran to him and I touched his feet. And that time Indubai was there. He saved me and told Swami, no, Swami is understood now. He has understood his lesson. But then when I reflected back, I realized that the problem is practice. If you're not practicing, there is no experience. And if there is no experience, it won't come out at the right time, you see. Therefore, practice is very important. And therefore, I think I always urge everybody in the Satsai organization, Kamla and I both have been trying to follow in our own lives, and also that focus on what Swami wants us to do. The Satsai organization is a platform where people must have a very clear goal that I want to improve myself. I'm not here to improve anybody else. And for improving ourselves, the 3 wings of the organization are a lovely platform. I mean, it's such a gift of grace by Bhagwan, the 3 wings given to us, that if one indulges in these 3 wings with the sincerity and with the goal of experiencing Swami, then there is no, in this one birth, I think what the ultimate realization is possible. And that's what Swami always told us. But the problem with us is that we don't have the right goal. I'm still worried, how can I correct you, and how can you correct me, and how can I find a fault with you? Moment you make something, how can I create an inquiry committee to push you down? And the other problem is that even in the organization, we fall into hero worship. I like Maya, Maya likes Kamla Aunty likes so-and-so. But we forget that we are not here to like any other human beings. We are here to see God in all human beings. But ultimately, we must be attached to God. I think that is the second dimension that we need to be appreciating in this situation. Therefore, I think this is a great lesson learned as a part of the Ashadi experiences that we have. Everything is a very important thing. I mean, the other story which I would like to share about prayer, which Kamla was mentioning about prayer. I mean, I learned the importance of prayer through a young child sitting next to me in the Ashadi program. I mean, you remember the boy started ranting after the Aarti was over and Swami went inside the room. And he's ranting, and you know how it is when the child rants in the cycle with all the Sevadal pounce on you as if you are the biggest demon on this earth, and the child has to be removed from the hall immediately. Just to save myself, I told the child, shut your eyes and pray. What do you want? He said, I want vibhuti from Swami's hand. I said, Dabbu, Swami is gone inside after Aarti, he'll never come out. How will he give you vibhuti from his hand? But the boy had faith in me. So when I told him, close your eyes and pray, he actually closed his eyes and started praying. And I was happy not because he was praying, but I was happy because he shut up and stopped shouting. I forgot about him completely. But lo and behold, brothers and sisters, I think what happened was suddenly the door opened. Swami walked from the portico from his room, came onto the gents' side, came down the aisle straight to me. And I was so selfish that I thought he's coming for me. I'm still not thinking of that kid next to me. He comes straight to me and he looks at me, comes so close that his stomach is on my face, literally. I'm looking up like that and he's telling me, wake that boy up. Suddenly I realized his presence next to me again. And I woke him up, get up, Swami's come. Swami asked him, what do you want? And he says, Swami, I want vibhuti from your hand. And there the master was there materializing vibhuti and giving it to him. And then looking at me with a sly light, looked down. Yeah, you don't believe in prayer, but prayer works. Here is the sincerity and the integrity of prayer, which makes the Lord walk out of his room, out of turn, outside schedule, just to answer the prayer. A genuine prayer made, God will always answer. And I think that was the lesson that I learned from the kid, that I should pray every day sincerely with integrity. I think that, I mean, these are some lovely lessons to be learned from all our situations that we do from that perspective.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much, Uncle, and that you're so gracious enough to come in unscheduled even for this one. But we couldn't have let you go just like that. A very big thanks to Swami for giving us this wonderful opportunity today to have the time to reflect upon him just after the Akhand Bhajan is completed. And couldn't have been a better time, and couldn't have been better people than the two of you, both uncle and auntie, to come and share all those lovely experiences and memories with Bhagwan.
Actually, I
To
think we must all, on a lovely session when Akhand Bhajan just ended, I think all of us must take a very firm decision that we are all a part of the Sri Satya Sai Seva organization only to improve ourselves and not anybody else. And therefore, we must accept everything in life as Bhagwan's prasad and take everything in his stride and only focus, detach ourselves from all the worldly difficulties that we face and attach ourselves to his lotus feet. And I think then the fruition of the Akhand Bhajan and this lovely interaction can be really cherished in our mind and in our heart.
Totally, totally. I also want to thank the organizers of this online Samarpan sessions, the team that works in the background. They've been dedicatedly doing this every month. And I also want to thank all the listeners and the audience who has joined us for the session today. Before we conclude, we can't let Auntie go before she takes us through a session of guided meditation. It is something that Auntie is so well known for, and she mentioned this as one of the beginnings that she had. So I'm sure all of us will benefit from it. So we'll do that, and then we'll conclude with Asatoma and Samastaloka.
Deepak, the light. We will now begin the meditation, the guided meditation. Sit comfortably, keep your back straight, your neck upright, and your hands either in the prayer posture or in the Jnana Mudra, resting on your thighs. Close your eyes after you have visualized the meditation Jyoti. If you cannot recollect, Open your eyes again and see the Jyoti properly till you can close your eyes and visualize it in your inner eye. Om Shri Sai Ram. Om Shri Sai Ram. Om Shri Sai Ram. Continue to visualize the beautiful light in front of your eyes. And as you visualize the light, watch your breath. Breathe in deeply. Breathe out successfully. Breathe in the good. Breathe out the bad. Breathe in the pleasant. Breathe out the unpleasant. So hum. So hum. So hum. See the light entering into your heart, the region of your chest. This light is Akhanda Jyoti, Jnana Jyoti, Prema Jyoti. And as the light enters your heart, the petals of your heart open up. Each petal opens up, being touched by the light. Slowly let the light move from the heart, through the throat and the nose, up to the region of the forehead. Let the light enter the forehead. Every nerve, every brain, every cell, every sinew of your brain is filled with divine light. Your intelligence is sharpened. Your concentration improves. Slowly let that light enter into the windows of your face, the eyes, the right eye and the left eye. This light of the Jyoti kindles your eyes and makes you better and more beautiful. Let the light enter into your right ear and left ear. These ears have been sanctified. These ears will hear only good. Let the light go down the nose into your tongue. This tongue has been sanctified. It will speak the truth. It will eat good and vegetarian food. Let the light go down the throat to the shoulders, the right shoulder, down the right hand, to the fingers of your right hand, across the chest, to the left shoulder, to the fingers of the left hand. These hands have become holy. Swami says, hands that help are holier than lips that pray. Let your hands be in society and your head be in the forest. Slowly let the light travel down your chest and down the stomach, the abdomen, cleansing you of all disease, filling you with energy and vitality. All ill health moves away from you and you become strong. Remember, you are a strong being, a powerful being, a peaceful being, healthy being. Let that light go around the stomach like a ring of protection, protecting you from all disease. Slowly let the light go down the legs, the right leg, to the right foot, to the toes of your right foot, across the left leg, to the left foot, to the toes of the left foot. These feet have become holy. These feet will tread the path of Dharma. Slowly let the light go up from the feet to the spinal column, up the spinal column, back to the forehead, and bring it to the region of your heart. See Bhagwan seated in your heart and pray to him, "Oh Baba, make me your child true and pure. Help me to be kind and loving, sincere and forgiving. Continue to see the light spreading out in widening circles to touch your parents, your mother and father, your brothers and sisters. Pray for your servants also. Pray for your friends at home and in your society. Let the light go out in widening circles to include all around you. The light spreads to the mountains, the trees, the rivers, every bird, every butterfly, every flower is filled with divine light. The light is all around you. You are in the light. Pray that God continues to bless you and give you strength to keep on remembering Him at all times. This light goes out in widening circles. Bring that light back and let it rest in your heart so that you can continue the balanced portion of the day with divinity and simplicity. Deepam Jyoti Parabrahma, Deepam Jyoti Parayane, Deepena Harate Papam, Sandhya Deepam Saraswati, Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva, Tvameva Bandhu Cha Sakha Tvameva, Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva, Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva, Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva, Asato Ma Satgamaya, Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Slowly open your eyes, rub your palms together and touch your eyes. And then without speaking, you can leave the precincts of this virtual program. Jai Sai Ram.
Jai Sai Ram. Thank you so much, Auntie. This session will be available on YouTube, so those who would like to watch it again can do so.
Sai
Sai
Ram.
Ram.